I mean, Asmongold is just completely body Destiny here. He's not even really getting into the politics of it all. He's just talking about how Destiny conducts himself, and he's dismantling him completely, and all of his stupid fans too. All the people who chose to stuck by Destiny, even when it's been made incredibly public that he's a habitual consent violator. And it's not like that's the first thing that should have clued you into Destiny being a dirtbag.
A lot of people have even preemptively justified it by saying, if this is what we need to deal with to fight against fascism, then it's okay. No, you don't have to deal with this. You don't have to have idols that are manipulators, sex pests, psychotic, like...
Yeah, you could watch people who sort of came from Destiny's community. If you really believe that, you have people like Pisco and Pondering Politics who were friends or friendly with Destiny and do their own YouTube stuff, and they're better at it than Destiny is anyway. You're going to get more information out of those people than you will out of watching Destiny. And the Destiny people know about these people, but no, they choose to continue to watch Destiny instead of Pisco or instead of Pondering Politics and pretend like, oh no, we need this. This is the one guy that can take down Trump and the righties.
So when somebody says something that's incredibly offensive to me and it would make you really mad, it probably just rolls right off my back like nothing. I don't really care about this. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't even think about it 5 minutes later. So,
Yeah, well, I can believe that a guy that doesn't care about cleaning up a dead rat in his bedroom doesn't care what people think too much. I think you'd probably clean up the rat if you cared what people thought all that much. Right now, Destiny is so reviled and repulsive to people that he needs to create enemies for his stream viewers to be mad at so they don't focus on how disgusting he is. And lately, one of the biggest targets he's been doing this with is Asmongold, and he was filming anything else with Dan, one of the few people who's chosen to stand by Destiny, and he had this to say about Asmongold.
His argument for doing it was to retaliate for tariffs against other countries that weren't real. Now he's going back on those reciprocal tariffs, claiming it was to get a better deal. Yeah.
Real-time processing.
Of course he's going back on the tariffs because these people are coming to the table to negotiate with them. The tariffs were a bargaining chip to begin with. That was the entire point of the tariffs.
Do you think there'll ever be a world where I'm trying to imagine, like, if they start nullifying people's actual U.S. citizens, if they'll care?
No, they wouldn't. Asmon Slop would absolutely 100%
So because they wouldn't start with like, fucking Joe Blow, right? They're going to start with someone that became a citizen from whatever reason. Like
they always find a way to recode whatever is being stated. They always find a way to recode it into a way that's acceptable. He could come across JD Vance fucking his mom's corpse, and JD Vance could say, well, it's a made in America fleshlight, and Asmongold would defend it. That's how completely debased these subhuman fucking losers are. Literally, the administration can take...
So Destiny brings up Asmongold's dead mom as a point to prove, oh no, these guys will flip-flop on anything. They have no principles other than Trump good. I don't know why he feels that that's necessary or effective to bring up when he has an example right in front of him that he can use perfectly fine. Oh, I don't know, maybe like a week back when the tariffs first went through, Asmongold was like, yeah, no, this is good. We need to hit back at these other countries that have been taking advantage of us. And then here you hear him say, oh, no, actually, it was part of the deal. It was for negotiating. That would work just fine to prove your point, but no, that's not good enough for Destiny.
Any position they want, and there will always be people like this who will find some way to make an excuse for it. It's beyond fucking... It's depravity, but...
Okay, that was a little much.
I'm just saying, like, no.
Right, even Dan, one of the few people who has stood by Destiny, like, yeah, I don't know. It seems a bit excessive, Steven.
I don't know what happened. Like, you saw him computing there for a moment. He's like, they went back on the tariffs? Well, of course they went back on the tariffs. Like, yeah, that's because it was a negotiating thing. They brought the tariffs back? Yeah, because it helps our manufacturer. Like, no matter what happens, they're always going to,
Okay.
Yeah, see, right there. He could have just made that point, would have gotten what he was trying to express across perfectly fine. but that wasn't good enough for Destiny. So Asmongold responds to this in a tweet and also on his stream. He says, a lot of people excuse deranged outbursts like this in Destiny's community because they think Destiny is fighting for a greater good that supersedes any form of accountability or decency. What they fail to realize is that crash outs like this, his comments towards the firefighter who was killed during the Trump assassination attempt, and the kid with brain cancer who was given an honorary Secret Service role, actively damage any cause he advocates for. Destiny delegitimizes left-wing political goals by using them as a shield while making vile, unwarranted personal attacks. Hopefully his community can realize this before he causes further harm to the causes they claim to care so much about. Well, I mean, if you look at his streaming numbers and his video views, doesn't seem like that's going to happen, right? If they didn't realize it when it became obvious he was a habitual consent violator, I don't think they're ever going to get it, right? Because unironically, the metric they use now is like, well, if he actually physically violated someone's consent or murdered, then I would probably have to draw the line there. That would be too much. So it's like, here's what Destiny did. Oh, well, you know what? The line's right there. So if Destiny brings it up here, the line, you know, it's just going to end up right there. That's how it goes with this guy. But Asmongold is exactly right here. And I say this as like an Asmongold hater. I'm not a fan of Asmongold, but he does more harm to the left than he does good. I'm convinced there are more people who vote for the right-leaning candidate because of their hatred for Destiny more so than there are people Destiny convinces to vote for the left-leaning candidate. I'm very sure of that. So I think the tweet actually came after this stream that he did because he finds out about a Destiny's tweet here, but I don't know. The order doesn't matter too much.
See Destiny's tweets about me? Did he tweet about me again? Let me see. I'm sure he's been mad. Let's see if I can find it. Where's Destiny? Does it say Destiny? There it is. And yeah, I would assume so. Being harassed. What is this here? Triggered. Don't let fascist adjacent people who celebrate arbitrary and malicious firing of federal employees who say they'll gleefully. So Destiny is mad. So this is what's happened with Destiny, and I don't want to give this a whole lot of attention, but like, or talk about it a whole lot. But basically, Destiny has gone back and forth about this over and over, and he made a joke about like how I would defend JD Vance having sex with like my dead mother or something like that. Just like a weird comment, unhinged comment, etc. And so like, this is what I said, and this is what
Okay, so this stream was after the tweet. Okay.
I think a lot of Destiny's community needs to understand. No, he actually did. Listen, just to get a better deal. Yeah.
Real-time
Of
processing.
course he's going back on
There
the
it is.
tariffs because these people are coming to the table to negotiate with them. The tariffs were...
I can imagine.
No, they wouldn't. Asmon Slop would absolutely 100 fucking percent
So
defend it.
because they wouldn't start with like, you know, fucking Joe Blow, right? They're gonna start with someone that became a citizen from whatever reason. Like
They always find a way to recode whatever is being stated. They always find a way to recode it into a way that's acceptable. He could come across JD Vance fucking his mom's corpse, and JD Vance could say, well, it's a made in America fleshlight, and Asmongold would defend it. That's how completely debased these subhuman fucking losers are. Literally.
So the thing is with Destiny and saying stuff like this, right? And I want to let you guys know that, like, I don't really take this very personally. My mom wouldn't have given a fuck about this. Like, I don't, it's not like I'm offended or upset by this at all. It's just being an idiot. But the point is that Destiny, and I think this is what a lot of his community does, is that they justify anything bad that Destiny does, and any, like, whether it's the sex pest allegations, the lawsuit for
Being very generous by just referring to it as sex pest allegations. All right. Destiny just about full on admitted that he shared the videos of Pixie without her consent, right? He said to her in DMs, I violated your consent in the worst way possible, or your trust in the worst way possible. But Asmongold being very nice to him there.
revenge porn, weird tweets about like people, like, I don't even want to get into the details with that. You know, him saying that stuff about the guy that got shot at the Trump assassination rally, him saying,
Yeah, and that's like, there was a period of time, I don't know, maybe a year to 2 years ago, where Destiny was making the rounds, talking to a lot of prominent right-leaning people, political pundits and whatnot, and it was going well for him, and he was received fairly well. He did a debate with Ben Shapiro, and you look in the comments, this is Ben Shapiro talking about his thoughts afterwards and some other stuff in this video, but people are saying, honestly, you and Destiny need a show together. I've thought so for years, but finally seeing you two together solidified for me. It'd be the biggest pundit show in the world. I'm a conservative, and for the past year, I've been watching Destiny. I really enjoy his analytical approach to things. He's very good at taking a topic, researching the hell out of it, and extrapolating the raw data. Destiny lays it out so that even if you don't agree with his summarization, you can understandably see how he got there. I really am happy to have him in the liberal sphere and hope we get more liberals like him. The debate versus Destiny was amazing. We need a part 2. It's funny how the two debaters that are most well known for eviscerating their opponents with facts and logic had a very civil and calm discussion. It was a great show on both sides. So glad you debated Destiny. It was friendly and thoughtful. Honestly, a really important step forward in discourse. Ben, I'm a liberal, but I've always enjoyed listening to you because I take your advice on hearing both sides seriously. I've been a huge fan of Destiny's content for a while and always hope to see a conversation between you two, and I really enjoyed it. I hope there's more to come. I've heard about this Destiny guy, but I don't know much about him. Regardless, it was a great 2-hour convo. I hope we will get to see more conversations with people from different political spectrums in the future. I align more closely with Ben on most issues, but I'm also a fan of Destiny. I loved everything about this debate. I just wish it lasted another couple hours to really flesh out everything. Now, just some of the comments there from when he debates Ben Shapiro. People on both sides were like, "Oh, this is cool." You think that after he says stuff, he's glad that the people at the Trump rally got shot, the firefighter. You think people like Ben Shapiro are going to be looking to debate him after that? No, no, it's not going to happen. He completely squandered that with the stuff that he's doing now.
Bad stuff about the kid that got put up there to make an honorary Secret Service member, him saying stuff like this, etc. I think that a lot of his community tries to defend, and they say it's okay that Destiny does this because he's actively working and advocating for a worldview that we think is good. So it's basically like the ends justify the means. And the problem with him doing that is that I think when an average...
Yeah, and that's why it's so annoying because so many people are saying, oh, no, we need to forgive and forget him for being a habitual consent violator because he's fighting for the left. He's pushing forward this cause that we believe in, and he's the only one that can fight against Trump. He's not effective at this. He turns more people away from the left than he brings people on.
Average person hears this and they see him saying this, it actively damages any cause that he's trying to promote. And you can even see him, he's not really would defend Trump executing U.S. citizens for arbitrary reasons if he started doing it. So this is just basically Destiny creates a false narrative. He creates a hypothetical situation that didn't happen, hasn't happened, and probably won't happen in order to justify...
Asmongold. What do you mean probably? Can't you just say it definitely won't happen? I definitely won't defend Trump executing U.S. citizens for arbitrary reasons. Why do you need to couch that at all? I feel like you should be able to confidently say that will never happen. That's a little bit worrying.
Acting insane, right? He's just made up this problem. He's basically made up a situation that justifies his own behavior. And also, you can see that in all of his defense of what I said about him, at no point in time is he saying that I'm wrong. That's because he can't defend what I'm saying. He knows for a fact what I'm saying is true. And the sooner his audience realizes it and they start holding him accountable for...
He's talking about how Destiny's not pushing back against him saying that he's ineffective and stuff. Obviously, he pushed back against the tariff stuff specifically. That's not what Asmongold's talking about. He's saying, when I condemned his character and how he's a bad advocate for the left and that sort of stuff. That's what he's talking about.
Acting this way, the sooner that he can make more tangible change and do things that are meaningful. Because right now, Destiny's burned so many bridges with so many people. You don't need to act like this. You don't want to act like this. People don't like you when you act like this. When clips like this hit the mainstream audience, people shit on you. And people shit on me for saying this too. But the difference is that I said that it was a joke and you're being serious. That's the difference. And also, I'm not going out and doing this while you're still advocating for shooting Donald Trump. And so the problem is, and that's why you had to delete the tweet, by the way. You should be lucky that you're not banned. Really, like you're going out and you're advocating for the assassination of political people, and you're going and chirping out about this, complaining about what other people are saying. You should be glad you're not banned. So the fact is, and he's gonna eventually he will pop off, because I think that Destiny has become increasingly more unhinged. And also, before I go into this anymore, no, of course I would not support Trump assassinating and killing people for random.
Okay, there we go. You weren't so definitive on it before there, Asmongold. I'm glad you said, of course I would now.
Reasons, like random arbitrary reasons. Like, why would I didn't even, there were tons of things I didn't support Trump with. I didn't support him with Roe versus Wade. I didn't support him with, let's see, what else? I'm trying to think about some of the other examples of things that have been with Ukraine. I didn't support him with like how he's approached healthcare. There's been tons of things that I haven't supported him with the tariffs. Yeah, I think the tariffs went way overdue. I think January 6th was awful. The exemptions of letting the people out. Like, yeah, so like this isn't even, it's a completely made up reality that Destiny has created for his audience in order to justify being a weirdo, right? Just being a weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. Destiny is such a weird freak that he has to create these absurd, evil caricatures of people so he can point the finger at them and distract from his own behavior.
And I don't know why he does this. And I'm gonna, as somebody who's watched Destiny for like 8 years.
He does it because he can't defend his behavior, right? The only halfway of a defense he has of the stuff that he did to Pixie is, well, technically the law wasn't in place in Florida at the time that I did it the first time. Like, okay, but you continued to allow access to this. The stuff was up the whole time. And besides that, really, my problem with Destiny being a habitual consent violator is not that it's illegal, it's that it's immoral.
Years and like on and off. I'm not a big DGGer or anything like that, but I've watched him on and off. I really think that ever since probably 2023, he's really begun to get way more unhinged, and he's become much more caustic. He's become much more personal, much more vicious. And I think Destiny is the perfect example of the old quote, if you gaze into the abyss long enough, the abyss will gaze back into you.
Whoa, philosopher Asmongold. Yeah, I mean, he might have ramped it up a bit. I think you could already see what a freak he was with stuff like the DDoS kid, leaking blue tea or blue tree, I think blue tea's nudes and stuff like that. Like, he's made a habit of being a POS for quite some time. But yeah, I mean, maybe he's ramped it up even more, made it more obvious lately.
I think that he spent so long fighting against what he considers to be these evil people that are conservatives or whatever, that he has become one of them. He's doing the same things that they do. Jericho, thanks for the 10 subs. I appreciate it. And I think he's doing the same things that they do. He's acting the same way. And the only way that he can justify his bad behavior, it's like, again, I guess you can use like the metaphor of like a house of cards, where like a house of cards can't stand with one individual card. It has to be pushed up against something else, right? And that's the only way that this type of behavior can exist, is in the context.
We're a beef jerky and marker house of cards. It was a great visual demonstration of what he was talking about there. That really added a lot.
And the only way that he can justify his bad behavior, it's like, again, I guess you can use like the metaphor of like a house of cards, where like a house of cards can't stand with one individual.
Is that, I think that might be beef jerky and a marker. I don't know.
Individual card. It has to be pushed up against something else, right? And that's the only way that this type of behavior can exist, is in the context of him justifying it by creating straw men of people who he disagrees with, justifying things that he thinks are similar. And I think that ultimately, Destiny, there are a lot of things that Destiny does and says that I agree with. And again, like, I'm trying not to, I guess I am making this kind of personal. That's actually not true. I am kind of making this personal, but I hope he can see that.
Are you making it personal, or are you just keeping it personal? I'm pretty sure Destiny made it personal with comments about your mother.
the way that he's made these things personal, I think that they actively work against his goals, and he is actively making things where I think more people see what Destiny says and they see these clips and they go farther away from left-wing ideology than towards it. And
Yeah, and Destiny likes to talk about how divisive Trump is. Well, he acts like this. I mean, unironically, it's on a smaller scale, but Stephen might unironically be more divisive than Trump with the stuff that he says. But he criticizes Trump for that and then acts like this.
and ultimately, when you're advocating for something and your behavior is causing people, and again, like, I don't know whether this is true, but I think it is. I think that when you're joking around about, fucking somebody's dead mom, making fun of cancer kids, these are things that average people don't like. And also, by the way, average people didn't like that I said this either. I'm also an asshole, and I'm a victim of this myself. I'm also a dickhead. One of the reasons why I always kind of like Destiny is because I could see some qualities of myself in Destiny. So it's not like I'm somehow better than this in a lot of cases, but I recognize when I do that, and I know that it's a bad thing. And the difference is that I can look at what I'm doing and say, hey, that was over the line. I shouldn't have said that. I'm being an asshole. He can't. He's so entrenched in this mindset that conservatism is these terrible, horrible people, and he's convinced himself of this, for better or for worse, whether he's right or not. He's convinced himself of this so certainly that
Yeah, I just don't understand how you expect to bring conservatives over. I mean, maybe he's at this point where he just doesn't care about it, but he's adopted the Vosh rhetoric where, like, conservatives need to be shot down. They're just worthless, evil people, and you can't negotiate with them at all because they're terrorists, basically.
he is now justified the exact same behavior that he's fighting against. That's what he's doing. And I think it hurts the causes. It hurts himself. It makes his audience look bad. It radicalizes people for no reason. And I think it's counterproductive. His only defense of what I said about him is, yeah, but you're doing it too. And then also an imaginary scenario that didn't happen.
Yeah, and then, like Asmon says, he at least can recognize and admit that when he does it, it's wrong. But Destiny won't say that. He'll just say, no, you.
If the only way that you can defend your actions is by saying they're doing it too, maybe you should ask yourself why that is. It's kindergarten logic, yeah. That's it. He argued at things that you said, but it's not shown in clips either. That's okay. I don't have a problem with him arguing about things that I said. That's totally okay. When would I complain about that? I don't, and also, like, I view this as constructive criticism. I do, because I view what he's doing as destructive. This is destructive.
The size of the soda pops that he drinks on these streams are just absurd. I mean, why does anybody need a liter of soda just sitting on their desk? Did he just say to that soda?
This is destructive.
I think he did. I mean, with how much you've drank of the soda pop, are you not used to that? You're still, wow, that really hit the spot.
No, off topic. Yeah. Who only approaches things in bad faith. The higher and higher you held up, it would be impossible to maintain ethical standards. Oh, that's the Jordan Peterson thing, etc. And so anyway, take a stand for one.
It's funny, the longevity of that quote from Jordan Peterson. That's what he said about Ethan Klein originally when he took down the interviews that he did with Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson was like, by doing this, you're just going to be held to a higher and higher standard by these lefties, these progressives that you're trying to appease, and eventually they'll eat you alive. And then you see that's what happened with iDubbbz. Even someone he thought was a close friend and collaborator, iDubbbz, turned on him for his political views mostly, if you take the content cop at face value.
Once in your life, bro, stop glazing this dude. I don't... See, this is one thing that a lot of you guys don't understand about me, is that I don't care about other people in just a very general sense. And that means I don't care when someone's rude to me, and I don't really care when somebody's nice to me that much either. It just doesn't affect me very much. I care about what I care about. I care about myself. I care about doing what I want to do, and I care about working in in a way that is beneficial to myself. So when somebody says something that's incredibly offensive to me and it would make you really mad, it probably just rolls right off my back like nothing. I don't really care about this. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't even think about it 5 minutes later. So...
Yeah, well, I can believe that a guy that doesn't care about cleaning up a dead rat in his bedroom doesn't care what people think too much. I think you'd probably clean up the rat if you cared what people thought all that much.
That's it. I don't... And also, I don't think that, like, really getting down and fighting with what I think Destiny is, which is a porcupine, is not beneficial for me. It's not beneficial for him. Everybody loses. So why do I want to get down in the weeds and start arguing and fighting with somebody who's going to start fighting and getting personal with everything? It's not beneficial for me. It's not really a winning strategy. Even if I come out on top, I'm still going to have a bunch of barbs in me. Why do I want to do that?
Yeah, I don't know if Destiny's trying to provoke Asmongold into debating him with this sort of stuff that he's been saying lately. But I think if Asmongold sticks by this, what he means, he just wins over Destiny, where he lets Destiny say this unhinged stuff and then doesn't give him the big view video and live stream of debating him. I mean, that's probably the strategy.
So the point is that I hope his community realizes that all of the way that he's been acting with this is tremendously counterproductive. This is what I wrote. A lot of people excuse deranged outbursts like this in Destiny's community because they think Destiny is fighting for a greater good that supersedes any form of accountability or decency. And you see comments like this, like, for example, with this lawsuit, etc., that he's involved in, you see people, and by the way, I've never commented on whether it's true or not. I didn't even read his statements about it. It's a legal matter. It's not my it's not my purview to do this. But the fact is that a lot of people have even preemptively justified it by saying, if this is what we need to deal with to fight against fascism, then it's okay. No, you don't have to deal with this. You don't have to have idols that are manipulators, sex pests, psychotic, like...
Yeah, you could watch people who sort of came from Destiny's community. If you really believe that, you have people like Pisco and Pondering Politics who were friends or friendly with Destiny and do their own YouTube stuff, and they're better at it than Destiny is anyway. You're going to get more information out of those people than you will out of watching Destiny. And the Destiny people know about these people, but no, they choose to continue to watch Destiny instead of Pisco or instead of Pondering Politics and pretend like, oh no, we need this. This is the one guy that can take down Trump and the righties.
Emotional, like, just like weirdos. Like, you don't need... This person does not need to be your avatar. And I think that Destiny was not always like this. I remember, like, I would be on the Trainwrecks podcast with Destiny every Thursday. Like, multiple times a month, I would be talking Destiny, and this never happened. We never... This kind of stuff never happened. People never acted this way. I don't know why...
I'm assuming he means it didn't get so personal. I never really watched the Trainwrecks podcast, but my understanding is that it was part of the whole, blood sports debate stuff. So I would have thought it got pretty bombastic and stuff. So I'm assuming he means it didn't get as personal as bringing up his dead mother.
And I think Hassan is more like this now. Maybe I'm even more like this now. Everybody just needs to chill the fuck out, man. What are you doing saying this? Really, just take a step back and think, what the fuck are you doing? It's crazy. It's not... You're noticing it finally? Well, I mean, I did. So, The reason why is that I sent a photo to a friend of mine. You can probably guess who the friend is of who I sent the photo to. It was this one, right? I sent this photo to him the other day because I had seen it, and I was like, everybody used to be able to get along and, disagree, and things were fine and everything was okay. But then over time, things got more and more radical. They got more and more extreme, and they got more and more serious. And it's been it's embarrassing. You've definitely gone off a cliff since the death trial. I don't think that I'm really as extreme, and I've tried to dial it back in because I think that there have been instances where I have been extreme. But overall, I try to be as fair as I can be, but even I fall short of this. I think that's what happens all the time. Same most outrageous stuff, justifying Trump sending people to El Salvador to changing a constitution for him. Well, there are certain things, like, for example, I don't like this appeal to authority of the Supreme Court when everybody can all collectively agree that Citizens United was a bad decision. When Citizens United exists as a ruling of the Supreme Court and, they overturn Roe versus Wade, I'm not going to act like the Supreme Court is the universal arbiter for morality and justice, okay?
Yeah, sure. They don't have to be the arbiter of morality and justice, but they're supposed to be a check and balance to the executive and legislative branches. So they're not supposed to just, Trump, the executive, they're not supposed to just go against what the court says and do whatever they want. I don't really know what his point here is. Like, yeah, sure. I don't think the judicial branch is the arbiters of morality and justice, but that goes for the legislative and the executive as well. But they're supposed to counter each other. And if Trump just ignores the judicial completely, that's a problem.
Okay, I'm just not. Like, that's again, I don't get my morality from the Supreme Court. I don't get it from the president. I don't get it from anything. I get it from myself. And so, no, I'm not going to just automatically attribute and say these people are right about everything. So when they make a bad decision or they do something I disagree with, I'm going to say that. And so that's it. The Supreme Court is not God. No, it's not. And so anyway, but that's not my point, right? My point is that the causes that he is trying to promote, he is.
Somebody in his chat, Sam I Am, says all 9 justices. I feel like you'd go insane if you're one of these types of people listening to Asmongold. Doesn't it just make you angry? You're just sitting in his stream for the heck of it?
Actively making them worse by doing stuff like this. And this is actually one of the less problematic ones because a lot of people don't like me, etc. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, sometimes make jokes on our destruction of our laws and traditions, turn around and lose their fucking mind anytime a black person or a female person is cast in a video game. Yeah, this is the thing. And again, this is another example. Anytime a black person or a female character is cast in a video game. Meanwhile, when I played South of Midnight recently, this is the most recent game, I was relatively positive about it. Even with Veilguard, I said that, it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that do this annoying stuff and they get so mad at anything that has anything to do with Sweet Baby Inc. or something they perceive as DEI in video games. And I've seen Asmongold do a little bit of it, but he doesn't really seem as bad as the people that really annoy me with that sort of stuff. Like Smash JT was way more obnoxious about this sort of stuff than Asmongold.
I've defended this stuff multiple times. And so, again, just keep in mind that when these people attack me, they use straw men of things that I never said and lies. And when I attack them, I'm referring to something that they're saying in their own words. That's the difference. Is that I don't need to lie about other people in order to get my point across. They do. And that's sad.
I mean, Asmongold is just completely body Destiny here. He's not even really getting into the politics of it all. He's just talking about how Destiny conducts himself. And he's dismantling him completely. And all of his stupid fans, too. All the people who chose to stuck by Destiny, even when it's been made incredibly public that he's a habitual consent violator. And it's not like that's the first thing that should have clued you into Destiny being a dirtbag. But as a very, very obvious, dramatic example of the type of person he is and how he does not see other people as full humans worthy of moral consideration. But his fans will forgive and forget anything he does. I'm convinced of that at this point. I really question if they would even turn on him for murder or physical violation of somebody's consent at this point in time. Because that's what they say, but it's really convenient how this is the line that Destiny just went to, and their line is right here.
People doing a lot with you? Yeah. And so anyway, that's what I think about it. I don't want to get into a whole lot more drama, etc. But again, and I can almost guarantee you, Destiny is never going to actually address what I said. He's never going to justify what he said about, you know, those other people or whatever, because he knows that it's indefensible. He knows somewhere, like, Destiny is not stupid. He knows that it's indefensible. He knows he's gone off the edge, and he might not accept this now, but he will.
I think he knows it's indefensible. I don't know if he thinks he's gone over the edge. I think he might believe that his behavior is justified.
In the future.
Does he just do it every time he takes a sip?
He might not accept this now, but he will in the future. He's 100% going to address this? Oh, no, he'll address what I'm saying, but he's not going to address the context of what I'm saying, the actual substance
Yeah, he'll address that Asmongold responded, but not the specifics of what was said.
of it. He's going to create, again, for blasting them for it. You're not blasting anybody for this. Like, arbitrary malicious firing of federal employees. Yeah, what if you think that somebody has a job that they shouldn't have? Like, is that really a bad thing? How is it malicious? Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that work at the government that have jobs.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's people in the government who don't deserve their federal jobs. But if you wanted to get rid of those people, you wouldn't just do sweeping firings of tens of thousands of people just because they're probationary or whatever you want to say. You would go in with a scalpel instead and try to be precise about it.
Jobs that are useless. Sure, yeah, absolutely, and then creating these false realities, right? And so anyway, he's gonna twist words and clip chimp it for sure. Yeah. And anyway, so angry now? He is. And I want to say that if Destiny is going to come back and explain, oh, it's actually okay for me to act this way because there's some greater good and it justifies all of my bad actions, I don't want to hear it. I don't care about it. It's bullshit, right? And so anyway, yeah, it's not worth taking seriously or listening to. And I think that a lot of people have come to that same conclusion with Destiny. And I think that's probably part of the reason why.
A lot of people have, yes, but unfortunately, not very many of his fans. His viewership has remained very consistent.
He's acting so angry. I think that the best thing that he can do is to just move past this and not act this way anymore. It's not helping him. It's not helping anybody. And it's certainly not helping the causes that he hopes to produce or to promote. Said a million times.
Yeah, I don't know if he even cares about promoting anything, actually. I think he might just use his politics as a way to enhance and grow his brand and his online presence. I mean, maybe he actually cares about some of this stuff, because, I mean, he did do the canvassing, and from what I understand, he put like tens of thousands of dollars into that. So maybe he does, but you would think if he really did, he wouldn't act the way that he does, because he's, like was said here, he's turning so many more people away from voting for the left-leaning candidates with the way that he acts, way more so than he's bringing people over.
He's down to discussion with you. Why would I want to engage in a conversation with a person who intentionally lies about me multiple times? Why would I ever entertain a conversation with a person who lies about me and makes up bullshit? Really? Really? Why would I do that? I don't want to get down and argue with people. I'm listening to what he says. If he has something that's very important to say, I've seen it. That's it. That's what's up. Yeah, why would I do that? What's the benefit in me for doing that? Nothing. So why would I engage with a person that continually lies about me and makes up
Yeah, I would think Asmongold would get good viewership on the stream and the video where he debates Destiny, but it would benefit Destiny a lot more because, you know, he would get that same bump in views, but also it's part of Destiny's strategy to demonize these other people that he can point the finger at and distract from his reprehensible behavior.
straw men that I don't even support? Really? How could I gain anything out of that? Yeah, it's that simple. Oh, do you want to see him debate Jordan Peterson? I haven't seen that. I saw like there was a video of him talking to Jordan Peterson. I saw like 10 minutes of it, but that was about it. Yeah. Prove him wrong? I don't need to. I think his situation has itself.
Yeah, I mean, what would be the point? There's nothing more to say about it than what he said in this stream. He has summed it up perfectly here and completely bodied Destiny and all of his brainlet fans who will excuse anything and everything.
That's the thing. I don't need to. Time has already proven it wrong in general. Scared? People say that I'm scared as much as you want, right? Like, I think this is the thing. A lot of chatters really like the debate content and they like the arguing content. I don't like doing that. I've never liked doing that. And I don't really have like a big ego in general. So it's not important for me to like prove to chatters that I'm not or anything like that. Like, I don't really care what people think. It doesn't really matter that much to me in general. So why would I play into a person who is intentionally dishonest? And I think that when you enter into a conversation with a dishonest person, you cannot win because they'll just lie. They'll just lie and make up things that aren't true. They're not approaching things in good faith at all. So why would you, for any reason, do that?
Yeah, I can't remember what exactly the phrase is, but it's something along the lines of when you roll in the mud with a pig, all that happens is you both get covered in mud, but the pig actually likes it. Destiny being the pig in this situation. Which it seems weird to make an analogy with a pig, and Asmongold is not the pig in that analogy, but as a one-off in this particular instance, he would not be the pig.
That. It's that simple. You can't argue with crazy. Yeah. There's no reason to do that at all time. It's a lost time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably good there. I am an Asmongold hater, especially since the re-election of Trump. People like Asmongold and Nuxtaku drive me absolutely insane with the way they praise just about everything that Trump does, and then even when they have things they disagree with Trump on, they're so quiet or even silent about it. It drives me absolutely insane, and they get crazy viewership doing it. But he's just right about Destiny in this case. He's absolutely right, and he completely dismantled Destiny and all of his stupid fans. And like I said earlier, there's not really any point to this. It's never going to make a difference. These people will continually move the goalposts of what's too much for Destiny to do, and they'll forgive and forget anything that he does. And there's no point engaging with them. There's no point for Asmongold to do the debate and give Destiny any extra eyes and extra money. It's not going to go anywhere, and he said everything that needs to be said right here.